years ago, I sat at my kitchen table staring at a pile of things I just bought from Target. A scented candle I didn't need, a throw pillow replacing one that was perfectly fine, a kitchen gadget still sealed in its box, sitting next to another gadget I'd bought months earlier and never opened. Individually, none of these purchases were expensive. Together, they told a different story. That month, my credit card statement showed $4,137 in purchases. My savings account? Just $812. I was earning over $60,000 a year, yet I had almost nothing to show for it. I wasn't buying luxury cars or designer watches. I was losing money the same way millions of Americans do, through hundreds of small purchases that felt harmless in the moment. That week, I came across an article about a Japanese budgeting method called Kakeibo. But what caught my attention wasn't the notebook. It was the idea that many Japanese families had quietly practiced these financial habits for generations. No get-rich-quick schemes, no secret investment strategy, just simple principles repeated consistently for decades. And that's when I realized something. America teaches people how to look wealthy. Japan teaches people how to become wealthy. In the US, success is often measured by what you own. A bigger house, a newer car, the latest phone. In Japan, financial security has traditionally been valued more than financial display. The goal isn't to impress strangers. It's to create peace of mind. So I stopped searching for another budgeting app. Instead, I borrowed 7 ideas from a culture that has quietly built wealth for generations. I didn't get a raise. I didn't start a side hustle. I simply changed the way I thought about money. 1 year later, my savings had grown from $812 to over $19,000. These are the 7 habits that made the difference. Number 7, Kaizen. Improve by just 1%. Most people try to change their finances overnight. They cut every unnecessary expense, stop eating out, cancel every subscription, promise themselves they'll never impulse buy again. 3 weeks later, they're back to their old habits. Japan has a different approach. It's called Kaizen, which means continuous improvement. Instead of changing everything today, improve one small thing this month. Cook at home 1 extra night each week. Save an additional $20 every paycheck. Cancel 1 subscription you never use. None of these changes feels dramatic. That's why they last. Imagine saving just $25 a week. Most people wouldn't even notice it. But that's $1,300 a year. Invest that every year at an average 8% return, and after 30 years, you've built roughly $160,000. Not because you earned more, because you improved one habit. Now imagine stacking 5 small improvements together. A cheaper phone plan, 1 less takeout meal, a lower insurance premium, 1 canceled subscription, an automatic transfer into savings. Suddenly, you're saving $400 every month. That's $4,800 every year. Over 30 years at 8%, that grows to more than $540,000. That's the power of Kaizen. Wealth rarely comes from one big decision. It comes from hundreds of small ones. Number 6, Mottainai. Stop wasting what still has value. There's a Japanese word that has no perfect English translation. Mottainai. It describes the feeling that something valuable has been wasted. Food, money, time, clothes, anything that still had value. Now, compare that to how most of us live. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, American households waste about 30% of the food they buy. That's roughly $2,000 a year thrown into the trash. I tested this myself. For 1 week, I photographed everything I threw away. Half a bag of spinach, expired yogurt, leftover rice, fruit I'd forgotten in the fridge. By the end of the week, I'd wasted about $40 worth of food. That didn't sound like much until I did the math. $40 every week is over $2,000 every year. Invest $2,000 annually for 25 years at 8%, and you've created nearly $160,000 from food you were already buying. But Mottainai isn't just about groceries. It's about asking one simple question before every purchase. Am I replacing something that's actually broken, or something I'm simply bored of? That question alone can save thousands. Consumer culture rewards replacing. Mottainai rewards appreciating. And appreciation costs nothing. Number 5. Wabi-Sabi. Learn to appreciate imperfection. Modern marketing has one job: make you feel like what you own isn't good enough. A newer phone, a better laptop, a trendier sofa, a different wardrobe. The goal isn't to make your life better. It's to make you dissatisfied. Japan answers that mindset with a philosophy called Wabi-Sabi. It teaches that beauty isn't found in perfection. It's found in things that have been used, repaired, and shaped by time. A scratched dining table tells the story of family dinners. A worn leather wallet shows years of use. A repaired bowl still serves its purpose. Nothing needs to be replaced simply because it's no longer perfect. Now, think about your own spending. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average American household spends nearly $10,000 every year on clothing, furniture, and consumer electronics. What if Wabi-Sabi helped you avoid just 20% of those purchases? That's about $2,000 saved every year. Invested at 8% for 25 years, that becomes roughly $150,000. Not because you became more frugal, because you became more content. Contentment is one of the most underrated financial skills in the world. The less often you feel the need to upgrade, the more money stays invested. And invested money does something new purchases never can. It grows. Number 4. Kakeibo, the 120-year-old habit that makes spending visible. In 1904, long before smartphones and budgeting apps, a Japanese journalist named Hani Motoko introduced a simple system for managing household money. It was called Kakeibo, and the entire idea could fit inside a notebook. At the beginning of each month, you write down 4 numbers: how much money is coming in, how much you need for fixed expenses, how much you want to save, and how much you're actually allowed to spend. Then, every day, you record what you bought. Not automatically, by hand. And every purchase goes into one of 4 categories: needs, wants, culture, unexpected expenses. That's it. The simplicity is the point. Because when your bank app automatically categorizes a $42 food delivery, your brain barely notices. Number 3. Ikigai. Give every dollar a purpose. Here's a question most budgets never ask. What is your money actually for? Most people have an answer for how much they want. They want more. But they don't have a clear answer for why. That's where the Japanese concept of Ikigai comes in. Ikigai is often translated as a reason for being. It's the purpose that gives meaning to your daily life. And when you apply that idea to money, saving stops being about restriction. It becomes about direction. Imagine 2 people receive the same $1,000 bonus. The first person has no specific financial goal. The money sits in their checking account, a few restaurant visits, a weekend purchase, some online shopping. 3 months later, the $1,000 is gone. The second person has a clear purpose. They're saving for a house, or financial independence, or their child's education, or simply the ability to leave a job they hate without immediately panicking. That same $1,000 suddenly means something completely different. Spending it isn't just spending $1,000. It's moving farther away from something they genuinely want. This is why purpose can be more powerful than willpower. When you know what you're building, saying no becomes easier. Let's say your goal is to build a $20,000 emergency fund. You want to save $500 a month. That's not just cutting spending. Every $50 you don't waste gets you 10% closer to your monthly target. Every $500 saved moves you another step toward security. And once you have that emergency fund, the next dollar can go toward investing. Your money now has a destination. That's the key. You don't need to hate spending. You need to know what matters more. Because if you don't give your money a purpose, something else will. Advertising will give it a purpose, social media will give it a purpose, your friends will give it a purpose. And usually, that purpose will be buying something. Ikigai flips the question. Instead of asking, what can I afford? Ask, does this help build the life I actually want? That one question can change hundreds of financial decisions every year. Number 2, Hara Hachi Bu, the 80% rule for your money. One of the most famous Japanese principles associated with Okinawa is Hara Hachi Bu. The idea is simple. Stop eating when you're about 80% full. Don't consume everything available. Leave some room. And that's a surprisingly powerful philosophy for money, because most people treat their income as if they should consume 100% of it. They earn more, then their lifestyle expands. A bigger apartment, a newer car, more subscriptions, more restaurants, more shopping. The problem isn't always low income. Sometimes it's that spending grows every time income grows. Hara Hachi Bu suggests something different. Leave yourself margin. Imagine your take-home income is $5,000 a month. Instead of building your lifestyle around all $5,000, pretend you earn $4,000. The remaining $1,000 gets saved or invested automatically. That's $12,000 a year. Now, let's look at the long-term math. If you invest $12,000 every year and average 8% annually, after 30 years, you'd have roughly $1.36 million. You didn't need a massive salary. You needed a gap between what you earned and what you consumed. Now, imagine someone earning the same $5,000 but saving only 4%. That's just $200 a month, or $2,400 a year. At the same 8% return for 30 years, that's roughly $272,000. The difference between the two strategies? More than $1 million. Same income, same investment return, different savings rate. That's why margin matters. And you don't have to jump immediately to 20%. If you're currently saving 2%, try 5%, then 7%, then 10%. That's Kaizen again. The goal isn't to make your life miserable. The goal is to stop treating every dollar you earn as available for consumption, because that extra 10% or 20% creates something incredibly valuable. Options. If your car breaks, you have money. If you lose your job, you have time. If an opportunity appears, you can take it. If you want to leave a toxic workplace, you are trapped by your next paycheck. That is what financial margin really buys. Not just money, freedom. Number 1, Chokin. Save first, spend what remains. And finally, the habit that ties everything together, Chokin. At its simplest, Chokin means saving. But the important part is when you save. Most people follow this sequence: earn, spend, pay bills, buy things, and then save whatever is left. The problem is that there is almost never anything left. Spending naturally expands to match the money available. If you earn $3,000, you somehow spend $3,000. Then you get a raise to $4,000, and eventually you're spending $4,000. Then $5,000, and somehow your lifestyle needs $5,000. Chokin flips the entire system. Earn, save first, spend what's left. Let's say you earn $4,000 a month after taxes. On payday, an automatic transfer sends 15%, $600, to your investment account. You never treat that $600 as spending money. You build your lifestyle around the remaining $3,400. That's $7,200 saved every year. Invest it at an average 8% return for 30 years, and you're looking at roughly $815,000. And here's the important part. You don't have to remember to save every month. You don't have to feel motivated. You don't have to make a decision. The decision was already made before the money arrived. That's what makes automation so powerful. You don't need more discipline if you can design a system that doesn't require discipline. And once you combine Chokin with the other 6 habits, something interesting happens. Kaizen helps you improve gradually. Mottainai stops you from wasting what you already own. Wabi-Sabi makes you comfortable keeping imperfect things. Kakeibo makes your spending visible. Ikigai gives your money a purpose. Hara Hachi Bu teaches you to leave margin. And Chokin makes sure that margin actually becomes wealth. None of these habits require you to become obsessed with money. They actually allow you to think about money less because your system is doing the work. The real lesson? When I first discovered these Japanese money habits, I thought I was looking for a better budgeting technique. What I found was something much deeper, a different relationship with money. I stopped asking, can I afford this? And started asking, is this worth trading part of my future for? That question is uncomfortable, but it's powerful. Because every dollar has 2 lives. It can become something you consume today or something that gives you freedom tomorrow. And you don't have to choose one extreme. You don't have to stop traveling. You don't have to stop eating at restaurants. You don't have to live like you're poor. The goal isn't deprivation. It's intention. Spend on what genuinely matters. Cut what doesn't. Save before you have the chance to spend it. And let time do the rest. Because real wealth usually doesn't look impressive while it's being built. It looks like an old phone that still works, a car that's paid off, a small apartment you can comfortably afford, a grocery bill that doesn't contain much waste, an investment account growing quietly in the background, and a savings account that means an emergency is an inconvenience, not a catastrophe. That's the strange thing about wealth. The people who are actually becoming financially secure may not look rich at all. They're too busy building something nobody can see. So if you remember only one thing from this video, remember this. You don't build wealth by finding more things to buy. You build it by becoming satisfied with enough and investing everything that remains. Because wealth doesn't have to be loud. The strongest kind is quiet.